So I talked to this guy yesterday who's gonna turn 30 years old in 2 months, and he's never been in a relationship before. He's never even been intimate with a woman before. And I think in the past we might think, well, is there something wrong with that guy? Because why would you be single and, virgin when you're 30 years old? Especially because this guy is actually decent looking and a really good guy. He has a good heart. But nowadays, I think it's becoming so common that we don't think like that anymore. We don't think, why is he single? Like in my case, in my 20s, I was single for 9 years. If I did not meet my first girlfriend when I was still a teenager, I would have also been in the same situation with that guy. Because I found my current relationship exactly 2 months before turning 30 myself, which is kind of ironic. But in any case, I just wanted to share with everybody on this video what we went through in that conversation with that guy and what to make of it, why this is going on and how to deal with it. Because, I wished I could have told him something revolutionary that would have made him feel like, hell yeah, thanks bro, now I'm gonna do that and I'm probably gonna find somebody. But I couldn't. Because ultimately, all I can ever say is, yeah, well, I got lucky. I hope you get lucky. Although there were a couple of things I did tell him, and I'll get into those in a minute. But in any case, this suffering that men go through, especially these days in the modern times, it's common, but it is painful. And I think women probably don't understand what it is like. Because I'll tell you another thing. A little bit less than 1 week ago, I actually was at a nightclub with my girlfriend because she had her friend group there. And I was approached by a woman for the first time ever in my life. I was sitting there waiting for my girlfriend to get me drinks because she showed me this is where her group is sitting, but now they were dancing and getting drinks and stuff. So I sat there alone, and then pretty close to me there was these two girls. And I was just looking around waiting for my girlfriend, and I didn't, want to make contact with these people basically. Because, I just came there because I happened to be in the city very close to the nightclub because I went to a concert myself, and then I was free from the concert. So I went to the nightclub to join with my girlfriend. And thankfully there was a karaoke room, so I was able to sing some karaoke. But anyway, as I was sitting there alone, there was this girl who just kept looking at me and giving me these glances. And then eventually, as I was just looking away, minding my own business, she sat very close to me, leaned into me and whispered in my ear, asking me, what am I doing there? To which I said, I'm here for my girlfriend. And then she thankfully left me alone very quickly after that. But the reason I want to share that is because I've gotten these comments on this channel like, yeah, well, you're so handsome, so it's easy for you to get a girlfriend. You look like a model. I have even been told that. But the reality is that even a guy like me, this was the first time ever that a girl approached me. And one thing I want to mention about being handsome, there's a lot of guys out there who actually are handsome, but they don't know it. You might be one of them. Believe me, please believe me. Women don't really care that much about how you look. We care more as men, and we definitely care more about our bodies than women ever do. This is one of the things that we discussed with that guy yesterday. He was explaining to me how when he's looking at women online, on Instagram or dating apps, it seems like women want so much. And then also, does he want a woman? Because if women enjoy these things that he's not into, things like traveling and shopping and, going for drinks and expensive fancy dinners, whatever. If he doesn't enjoy that, would he just be better off single? And the answer might as well be yes. That's why I never try to tell anybody you must find a woman. You cannot be single. Because that's not true. For some people, it's probably better to be single. But in this person's case, he really craves love. He's very similar to me in that way. I'm a sensitive guy. I laugh hard and I grieve hard. Heartbreaks are very difficult for me. And that's the same for him. That's why he doesn't want to try anymore. Which gets us back to the fact that I couldn't really tell him anything. All I could say was, you just gotta go to places and hope you meet somebody at the right time, at the right place, and you don't get heartbroken again. Like, that's all I can tell anybody. And it sucks. But what do I want to achieve with these videos then? Well, first of all, I don't want men to give up, because if I gave up, I would not have found my woman, who is absolutely amazing. Here's how close it was for me. We met at the medieval festival and we talked only a little bit. And after the festival, when I got home, I was thinking about her, about this cute, beautiful girl who I met. And she was a friend of my friend's wife, so I knew I might find her on Instagram. So I went to the friend's wife's Instagram and I looked for her and I found her there and I sent her a message. But I was this close to not sending anything, because you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, she's not gonna reply anyway. And if she's gonna reply, she's gonna be like all those other girls who are so boring online, who are full of nothing. And I'm just gonna be disappointed again and heartbroken again. What's the point? But because I'm so hell-bent on some of these things, like romance, I've always been a romantic, so I just couldn't help myself. Even though I was full of negativity, I sent her a message. And to my surprise, she replied like no one ever before. She carried a conversation like no girl ever before. And I was on dating apps throughout those 9 years of being single a lot. And I was talking to a lot of girls online, and they were all, except like for 2 or 3, very boring. So that's why I always keep saying, and that's why I keep making these videos where I say, if you really want to find a woman, you can't give up no matter how much it hurts. But here is the issue. Just like this guy who I talked to yesterday, men are burned out. It feels like you have to be so goddamn special and high level to be able to get a woman. It's not worth it. And then you get into a relationship and it's full of drama, it's expensive, it's this and that. Why would you do it? Modern women are ruined anyway, so why would you even try? So here's what I told that guy when he explained to me how, he sees these women on Instagram and dating apps and they are something he's not really convinced would be a good match for him. I said, love is actually very simple. And this is why the social media and the technology ruins everything. When you meet somebody in real life and you click, you find each other attractive for whatever reason, because let's be honest, it's biology. There's something, you can't even probably put your finger on it, something about the other person that you like, and you happen to like each other in real life, not on the goddamn internet, because dating apps go to hell. But when you really like somebody, you don't really care about how well you match when you list things. When you're trying to make this list of hobbies and habits and whatever, those don't really matter that much. My girlfriend has been living 1.5 hours away for almost 3 years now that we've been together. And before her, when I was on a dating app and I would tell a girl that I live in the countryside, 1.5 hours away from the capital city, they would be like, nah, that's too far. But because I met my girlfriend in the real life, she didn't care about that. I didn't care about that. She was supposed to be this kind of city girl, and I'm this country boy. There was supposed to be all these differences, but none of them have mattered. I've loved being there in the city with her occasionally, and she loves being here in the countryside with me on the weekends. Because we just naturally, for whatever reason, whatever the chemistry is created by, our love is so simple. But at the end of the call with that guy, I told him, I'm optimistic. I don't know if he can be optimistic anymore. I don't know if he should, because ultimately you should just live your life. Like, ironically, when I found my relationship, I had moved to the countryside to live in a house alone because I had made the decision that I'm not gonna wait for anybody. I'm gonna live my life because I'm not gonna waste any of it. And I had people around me, family members, co-workers, they were asking me like, so you're moving to the countryside alone? You're moving to a house alone? You're not moving with a partner? Like, it was such a weird thing for them. But I had made the decision. I'm gonna move on with my life already. I'm not gonna wait for anybody. And then ironically, just as I had set up my, direction, my path like this, I found somebody by chance. I was not looking for anybody. So I would say people shouldn't really be looking for anybody. You should live your life and enjoy it. But at the same time, I don't want people to be cynical and pessimistic, because then you're gonna miss a chance. Like the guy I talked to, he missed a couple of chances. He told me he regrets those things so badly because he could have gotten to know a couple of girls better, and who knows, maybe they would have had a relationship, but he kind of had given up on women. Well, in one case it wasn't about that, it was more deep than that, but in the other case he had just given up on women, so he didn't approach this girl, and now he regrets it. But anyway, I would love to hear your stories down below in the comments, because the reason I make these videos is that I want relatability. I was single for a long time, and if it wasn't for this small little thing, I got lucky at the right place at the right time, and I did take the action that I almost didn't take because I was so pessimistic. But I know what it's like to go through certainly your 20s having no hope. No one looks at you, no one approaches you. You feel like you're invisible. I know what that feels like. So let me know in the comments. I'm interested in hearing your story, because dude, there is so much more to this life than just girls. So even if people are single forever, life is beautiful, man. It's just that we gotta find all the other things we enjoy and make our lives very enjoyable, no matter if somebody joins our life or doesn't join our life. That is why I am so interested in all your stories in the comments. It's always so fascinating to read those comments, and I just wish you all the best of luck with life, whether you are single or not. So leave a like for this video if you enjoyed it. I wish I had a script. I didn't have a script, so it was all over the place, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But please do consider subscribing as well if you want to hear more stories like this. I try to kind of share these real life stories and then kind of combine them with my experience and talk through these topics, like looking at all these guys and then knowing that I had that same sort of experience for a long time, and what did I learn from it? How did it feel? How does it feel now? And ultimately, I just want to talk to those guys. Of course, it's awesome when there's older guys too in the comments. That's always interesting. But mainly, I want to talk to younger guys who are struggling with things that I definitely struggled with. That's what this channel is for. So thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.